Hi everyone and welcome back to Ships at Sea. So today's episode we take a little bit of a late look at version 0.8.5. It was released just before Christmas, but with holidays and whatever's going on, first time I've had a chance to look at it. So a few things they've introduced. The first thing, as part of the ability to fast travel, is the sea taxi. So to use that we would go up to the sailor, select, there's our ship, and we can scroll out, look around, and there's only a few places I believe you can go. I think it's the main ports at the moment. I'm not sure, that's a little bit of an angle, but so at the moment the only ports I can see available are the main port. Lost. So we just zoom across. So if we wanted to go to Voss, we would select the little brown icon. Hello. Why is it not doing that? Okay, let's come out. Maybe it's because I've messed around. We'll try it again. Voss main port. That's better. It says it's 500 knot. Press E to use the taxi. Do you want to travel? Confirm. And there we go. We're here. Now if we look at our map, we can probably see, I believe our ship is still at Vidoya. Sorry if I've got that wrong. So if we wanted to travel, we can actually travel back to that port at the moment. If I went into a shipyard and spawned another ship, what would happen is that Scomcat would despawn and now I couldn't travel back to Voya. I believe you can only travel from a small port to the big port. You can't travel back to a small port unless your ship is there. So let's waste another 500 knock. And we'll go back to our ship. So the idea is that if you've done a delivery and you just want to jump back and switch into another ship, you don't have to sail anymore. So it is a little bit like fast travel, but obviously you still have to sell the ship if you're doing missions. Also, you can obviously transport your ship back here with the entire crew if you wanted to by simply using the radio, as I think a lot of people were doing prior to that. So we'll just jump back to the Scomcat. And we'll go for a little bit of a sail in this. So we'll just undock. I think it's... Now the other thing, they've made another pass on the physics. So let's have a look. So at the moment we're doing 0 knots. Let's just build the speed slowly. See if it gradually starts moving. And we can try and control the speed. Okay, so that does seem better because I'm sure this ship, if you remember, last time what we had is that whenever we just put a bit of valve thruster in, I think, get that nose round a bit quicker. So yeah, what happened last time is that it would either race away at sort of 10 knots from 0, or it would just stop dead. So let's see if I can just bring it down, see if we can just bring in a lot more control to it. Also, it looks very much like the rudder isn't as effective at low speed anymore. So that's kind of what we would expect. And as the speed builds up, we begin turning. So, yeah, Is it realistic? I don't know. I don't sail real ships, but it does feel a little bit better. So let's head out. We'll head back to Rost. I don't think yeah, it's 30 knot wind. So if we head out into the open ocean, maybe we'll get some waves. They said they've done a pass on the graphics, but yeah, still getting that annoying flickering. It's very boxy looking. Again, that could just be someone in on a laptop. Let's see if we can get out into the open ocean. We'll head for Rost. Another thing they have done, well, that's some quite horrible looking lines there. Another thing that they have done now is improved lighting. So inside they've now separated, you've got bridge lighting as well as the interior lighting, so it gives you more options there. They've also said that the lights are brighter, the searchlight now illuminates the water. We'll maybe go and do a nighttime run out on the fishing vessel and have a look at that. The fridge on this boat can store more items, and there is a firefighting mission, a house, a destructible house. Now that's interesting. If you look at that lighthouse, I don't know if you can see it on this screen, but there's a beam of light shining out from there. I haven't seen that before. Yeah, so that definitely looks a little bit better. I imagine at night you're going to see that from quite a long way away. Yeah, as I was saying, the house fire is a dynamic mission, so I'm not sure I'll be able to just select it, but if it appears, I'll fit the firefighting equipment to this boat, and if it appears, we'll have a look at that. If not, never mind. That lighthouse does look better, that beam of light. Excuse me. Yeah, certainly not as much pitch and roll, but that said, at 30 knot wind, you kind of would expect maybe a little bit more waves. So I hope they haven't gone too far the other way, maybe just killed all the waves on the vessel. Okay, well, certainly the boat isn't pitching and rolling quite as much. It certainly seems to seem a little bit heavier, but yeah, it could be that we're still in what they would consider the inland waters. It's only when you get out to the open ocean, which maybe is more over into this area. But we'll take out the fishing vessel and we can have a look. Oh, they have got icons for all the sea taxis, but as I said, seems you can only go from the main one. Rost Glebe, that's actually where now the large cargo will be shipped in from. Not much wake or bow wave being created. So what I'll probably do is I'll just skip in to Rost and switch out to the fishing vessel and rejoin me there. Yeah, sorry, I had a bit of a glitch in my recording. So we successfully docked the Scomcat. I can confirm that certainly the throttle isn't as twitched as it used to be. It was much easier to bring the ship in. I've transferred to the Poseidon, the fishing vessel. I bought some bait, various bait. When you hover over it, the bait looks the same, but actually it will now show you in yellow the type of bait that's there. So what we'll do, we'll head out to a fishing ground, and we'll also get to look at the lights. So I want to see if the searchlights are much better, and I want to look at the marker buoy as well, because I remember the buoys were really hard to spot. So let's first thing we'll do, we'll turn the bridge lights off, and the interior lights are still on the lower part of the boat. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and we'll undock. Okay. Oh, hold on, I jumped out my seat. Oh. Just use a little bit of thrust. Just to, that's it, we'll get ourselves underway. That searchlight, it's not looking too bad on the front of the boat. We'll get a bit further out, we'll have a look at that. See if we can move it around. It's supposed to illuminate the water now, but we'll have a look. So let's find the... Is that a fishing ground? Nope, fish farm. Let's find the closest fishing area. I think it'll be there. They have introduced dual throttle control. I think they're just starting to set it up. That's interesting. I can't steer this boat any more than 15 degrees. Ah, but if I slow down I can. So it seems like it's locking the rudder. Okay, that's interesting. Or perhaps if I just hold it. I don't want to do it and crash into a building. This is a bit interesting. I just wonder if it will eventually put hard over, because I'm sure even if you're moving fast you can try and get the ship hard over. I might be wrong again, I'm not a real captain. But yeah, it's jamming, it's stopping at 15 degrees. So high speed, you're not going to turn as quick. Kind of makes sense. Get a little bit further out. I think what I'll do is I'll pause the video and I'll jump us forward, and again we'll have a look at what the markers look like. So we've arrived. I did skip a few hours to try and get it a little bit darker, but we've got a gorgeous clear starry night. It's 3 AM in the morning, so I doubt it's going to get much darker than this. Let's just have a look and see what happens with the searchlight if we move it around. It doesn't appear. Ah, yeah, we got something there, I guess. Maybe. Let's have it. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of is illuminating a little bit. Let's see how far ahead of a boat it can get at. Yeah, it certainly is a little bit more effective than it was. To be honest, it's quite hard to tell when it's this dark. Sorry, not this dark, I should say. Is how far ahead the light would throw. So at the moment, when I lift it up, it goes up the mast, but it doesn't seem to be lighting up anything too far ahead. If I bring it out to the side. So we'll bring it out to the side. Lift it up. It throws it out. It might be okay if you've got it out to one side and there's a buoy over to the left or right. I think might be might have some use. So bound there if I just lift it up. To be honest, it might be easier in a darker night. Anyway, let's chuck a buoy overboard. Let's see if the buoy light's any better. To be honest, I'd prefer the darker night, ironically. But we'll go down. We'll just load up a quick bucket. Oh, that light looks much brighter. That does look a lot different. Okay, well, we'll get going. We'll give it some distance from it and we'll just see what it looks like. Right. Yeah, still gonna have to squint to see it, but yeah, I can still see that flickering. That does look a lot better than the last time. It may well be possible to recover a buoy at night time, and we've got the lighthouse. You can just see the lighthouse on the horizon, and I believe that lighthouse would be that lighthouse there. So that's quite a distance, and we can actually see that lighthouse. Over in the distance there, you can see the lights twinkling of that's Rost Harbour. So certainly the scenery lights are a lot brighter. Let's just push up some power. And the searchlight again, yeah, that's going to also probably have some use, I think, when it comes to trying to pick up a buoy. I just still think it should maybe throw out a little bit further. Yeah, I mean, it might well be doing that. Oh, hang on, I'm going off course there. Let's get back on course. Yeah, maybe I'd like to see it thrown a little bit more obvious so I can see a bit further ahead, but yeah, it's not too bad. I'd say we've improved that. Okay, long lines deployed. Let's just have a look behind. In fact, what we'll do, we'll just take a walk to the back of a boat and see if we can see over it on the horizon there. Yep, I think that's going to be a lot easier to pick up. I'd be interested to see what it's like when it's much darker, but I would definitely think that the light is working. So one of the other things that they have done, I'm probably not going to demonstrate it on this video, I'll just explain it, but what they have done is the bleed box. Let's just, oh, I've left a hatch open. So what happens is when you pull a line and in this bleed box, if you hover over it, it's going to show you the weight and the content of a fish that's currently in this box. So again, that's useful, and I believe it was brought in maybe on the other update, is when you're sorting fish, it will actually hover over there. I think it will tell you what's actually in each box. I might do another video at some point and actually do some proper long lining. Okay, so that's it for this video. I hope it's been of use. Obviously any comments or questions below, anything you'd like me to demonstrate, yeah, just leave a comment. As always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you, and see you soon. Take care.